everyone, and welcome to the Johto finale of Pokemon Crystal. And the champion of the Pokemon League is none other than Lance. Let the epic final battle begin! With amazing music, mind you. I recommend you look up this song. It is... holy shit, it's the best theme in the series. Until the Pokemon Plasma theme in Gen 5, actually, in my opinion. But then again, it's the only song that's a remix of the original theme. Anyway, he's gonna start off with the Gyarados. If you have someone with an electric move, punch it. Because to be honest, like the rest of the Elite Four, this is actually really easy, especially considering I'm kind of over-leveled. I have no idea what happened to the video there. That was kind of odd. But anyway, unlike the original Gen 1 Lance, because Lance was actually the fourth member of the Elite Four in the original generation, he doesn't use entirely Dragon-type Pokemon, even though he's supposed to be a Dragon-type trainer. What he instead uses is a lot of the pseudo-dragons, like Aerodactyl and, Aerodactyl, Gyarados, and Charizard later on. However, a majority of his Pokemon are weak to Ice-type, considering he has 3 Dragonites. So Matt's going to be getting a lot of use in this fight. Also, off-screen, I know you probably noticed this last part, he learned Aurora Beam, which is a lot better than Blizzard, but I don't replace Blizzard until this fight, actually. Blizzard is useful, I will give it that, but the only thing it has over Aurora Beam is the chance to freeze something, which, while rare, is not that useful. And yeah, Lance is pretty good for grinding experience points. If I ever have to do any more level grinding, I'll probably just refight the Elite Four over and over again with my Pokemon. But as you can see, having an Ice-type is kind of utter destruction in this fight. And now Matt is learning Hydro Pump, the best Water-type move in the game, and considering I will be fighting some pretty tough stuff later on, I decided to replace Blizzard with it. And that should be the last move Matt will learn throughout the rest of the game, really. Well, of course it does, I mean... after this, there's only slight post-game content in Johto, right? Right? Yeah, I'll talk about that later. Anyway, his last Dragonite's level 50, and it's by far his hardiest Pokemon, because it is kind of tough to take out. I mean, it's equal to my level, and notice how it's the only Pokemon so far that has survived more than one attack. But of course, he decides to be a wuss, and heal it. Gah, I hate full restores. Why do they get to use items? That is unfair for the player. Only we should get to use them. Then again, Gen 2 and Gen 1 have very abusable AI, so it's alright in those games. Gen 3 and onwards, though, it just gets unfair sometimes. And his final Pokemon is Charizard, and since I'm a much bigger Generation 2 fan than I am Generation 1, I'm asserting the dominance of Gen 2 over Gen 1. Hello, overrated dragon. Go my not overrated, but still better. Whatever Typhlosion is based off of. Actually, what is a Typhlosion based off of? I know Charizard is based off a lizard dragon thing, but Blaze, Hardy's based off a honey bat, but Typhlosion, I hear they're based off honey badgers, but I can't really tell. Like, I know Cyndaquil is based off a either an echidna or a hedgehog, but eh. Charizard's down, we win, we're the champion of Johto, booyah. And that is the end of Lance. We'll never see you again unless I decide to refight you off screen. Blah blah blah. You're a great trainer. You're gonna be making a great champion. Blah blah blah. Whoa, God! Random last battle. When I thought that, I actually thought I was going to be fighting a last trainer, which was kind of funny. But it's actually, that's Mary from the radio station who I rescued like 2 or 3 parts ago. And we're seeing Oak for the 3rd time in this game, if I remember correctly. 3rd or 2nd. I can't remember. I know we saw him with Mr. Pokemon. I'm trying to remember anywhere else. And she's freaking out because we never did the interview. Ah, comedy. And we're in... And welcome to the Hall of Fame, everyone. Why has it been a while since you were last here, Lance? Have you... Then again, we don't know how long it was ever since he beat, Well, actually, we don't know if he beat anyone, because we know he's the Johto champion. The Kanto champion is still the champion from last game. Or who we were last game. But, I guess that's fan theories. Fan theorists, get on that! But anyway, welcome to the Hall of Fame. This records the Pokemon you used, their levels and HPs and such. Blaze, caught in part 1, and, well, has been with us since. Pat, forever to never evolve. Ah, man. I remember when I first saw one of these screens in the Pokemon games. That was actually Pokemon Platinum, was the first one I ever beat. And that's only because I got the Arceus at the event. Because as I've mentioned before, when I was young, I was a kid who only ever leveled up my starter. I'd get to the Elite 4, at a level 70 starter. Then the rest are level 2, 4, 9, 3. Yeah, and I have 90 hours of gameplay time only because of the fast forward key. We're getting good at this, but we have a long way to go. What he means there is that we've seen a lot of Pokemon, but we haven't caught many at all. And he means that, because there are 251. And I'm not going to be catching them all, but, maybe I'll just do that in an extra video, because that is the end of Pokemon Crystal. Or is it? Because, believe it or not, we're only about at the halfway point of the game. The main storyline may be finished, but now it's time for the post-storyline. After this, we're actually going to be heading into... Well, you'll see at the end of the video. But as for my thoughts on the main storyline, it's my favorite Pokemon generation so far. The main storyline I find so fun to play through. Usually I just end my playthroughs at this point, but since this is a Let's Play, I want to show the entire game off, and there's still a lot to show off. Will I be catching them all, though? Is actually a good question. I'm gonna be thinking about that, because we still have about 10, 11, 12 parts to go. You'll find out why at the end of this, but... As a game itself, the main storyline, if it was its own separate game, I would play over and over again and never get bored, because I love Johto. It's such an immersive world. It'll get more immersive next part. Oh, trust me about that. As for what's happening next, I'm going to be taking a break for a couple days after I upload this, so I can get some other stuff done. Well, I'm talking about the day of recording this, because it's currently the 24th of October when I'm recording this. I probably won't be recording another video until the 31st, so just never mind the break part. That won't affect you guys at all. By the way, I love this end credits theme. It's so cheery and yeah, it's just cheery as hell, and I love it. The end. Or is it? Because it's not. Actually, if you leave the end screen going on for a little bit, it plays this remix, this music box remix of the credits theme, which I find really nice. But anyway, if pressing A brings you back to the title screen, and let's continue on with the next part of the game, shall we? So let's boot up the game, and normally games like RPGs would take you to the last place you save, which for me would be right in front of the champion, but this game takes you here, because it saved the Hall of Fame record, of course. I don't know if you have to walk into your house, but that's what happened with me. But we get a call from Professor Elm to go visit him. So what does he have for us? Well, I'm going to be getting a bit ahead of the game because I'm running out of time here. He has an SSN ticket. The latter half of the game is the first generation. We're heading out and thank you guys for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And next time on Let's Play Pokemon Crystal, we're beginning Kanto. Time for a nostalgia trip of 3 years into the past. See you guys then.